Hey peeps, Justin here. Welcome you to TacosandGeeks.com reviews, and today we are going to be reviewing the Avengers Infinity War. This is a spoiler-free review. My next video that I will upload will be a kind of an ending explain type of thing. And the reason for that is when I left the theater, I had a lot of people, just strangers, coming up to me because for some reason they came up to me and asked me, did you understand the movie? Mainly for the casual audience. They didn't really understand the ending. They didn't understand what was happening, and they were kind of upset with the ending. So I'm gonna get into that when I get into spoiler territory in the next video. But this one is spoiler free. So Avengers Infinity War is a culmination of 10 years, you guys. 10 years of story building, world building by Marvel Studios, and I just have to say this. I can't believe it. They did it. It is an absolute blast. You know, for me, lean more towards the DC side of things, but even I, as a DC fan, has to admit, hats off to Marvel, man. Just congratulations to everybody from Marvel Studios, Marvel Comics, Disney, even Lucasfilms. And the reason why I'm saying Lucasfilms is because they were really the main driving force on the special effects, Industrial Light and Magic. These guys did an amazing job on Thanos and just the special effects in general. So, what is Marvel Infinity War? Avengers Infinity War, I should say. Infinity War is following Thanos, who is the main character, who is known as the Mad Titan, and he is in search of the Infinity Stones. And that is all I am going to say about that, because I don't want to get into spoilers. Anything I mention will be kind of a spoiler. So it's up to the Avengers to stop Thanos from stealing all the Infinity Stones, because if he does, Thanos can end the entire universe. He'll be the most powerful being in the universe, and he can end the universe with a snap, as it was shown in the trailer. So what was my thoughts on the Infinity War? How did I like it? Well, I absolutely loved it. And one of my biggest gripes that I've always had with Marvel movies, well, I should say the MCU, was the villains, the one-off villains, the one-note villains who wasn't really established, wasn't really characterized very well. They weren't giving enough time for me to feel a connection, truly understand their motivation. They were very, okay, I have this power, I'm out for power, very power-driven villains. I want power, I want control, and it was just very one-note until we got Loki and Killmonger, and now we have Thanos, who is probably the most compelling of them all, because his main goal is simple: the end of the universe, perfect balance, as all things should be. And just, it was such a blast just watching Thanos just wreak havoc on the world and just in the universe in general. And I will definitely say this is a very dark, emotional movie. It's something that people, when I left the theater, they didn't really know how to feel, because they're not kind of used to this kind of dark tone that Marvel brings. I mean, I've seen people leave the theater in tears. I've seen people leaving the theater angry because they were kind of expecting this humorous, just this humor fest, like joke after joke after joke after joke. And that's not a knock at Marvel Studios. The formula works very well. But this one, the reason why I love it so much is because they finally found this balance of humor and serious tone. Because usually in certain Marvel films, we have movies where you have a serious situation, and then a one-liner comes in, and it just kills all tension. It kills all of that basis that was building up. And I personally really do love Infinity War because, yeah, you have your jokes, but it's so toned down, and the main focus really is this serious situation of Thanos and trying to stop Thanos from basically destroying half of the universe when he gets these Infinity Stones, or searching for the Infinity Stones. And that's one thing I really did love, is that there is humor, don't get me wrong. Star-Lord, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Thor, you know, Rocket Raccoon, Batista's Drax. They all crack jokes, they all make jokes, but it's so little in between. It's not joke after joke after joke after joke. It's not an action comedy. This is a serious film, and it's a serious character study on Thanos and what he's trying to accomplish, and how his quest is affecting everybody and the consequences of these actions. And I have to tell you, this has to be also, now that we're talking about acting, some of the best acting. Chris Hemsworth, mark my words, you guys, Chris Hemsworth is the MVP of this film. A lot of people are saying the MVP is Iron Man or Doctor Strange or even Groot, but I say the MVP of this whole entire film is Chris Hemsworth as Thor. This is the best Thor has ever been. He has the most emotional arc besides Zoe's Gamora, but he has the most emotional arc because throughout the whole process of the MCU, Thor has just been struggling, he's been battling, he has had so many losses, and it finally hits him in this film. You see an emotional Thor. You see a Thor that's uncertain. You see Thor at his most rage and anger. It is beautiful, and just gotta give a clap to Chris Hemsworth, you guys, because he did such a phenomenal job of really bringing in that performance. Robert Downey Jr. is also great. Tom Holland, amazing as Spider-Man, as always, pun intended. Chris Evans, I was a little disappointed with Chris Evans. He didn't have that much to do in this one, but when he was on screen, the audience completely erupted in cheers for my boy Cap. I love Cap. Cap's my favorite, and I think Cap has the best trilogy in the entire MCU series. I think his is what I wanted the MCU direction tones to go. Serious, but have some humor in there as well. Chris Pratt, as always, as Star-Lord. A lot of people was complaining that he was more of an asshole in this, but I'm gonna explain a little bit more in the in the spoiler review what I really thought about Star-Lord. But let's talk a little bit about the action pieces. I will say the action pieces was really good. I really did enjoy all the fight scenes, especially the finale, very emotional finale. I would say my big disappointment was the Black Order. They weren't really, if there was one-note villains, they were one-note villains. They were just basically following Thanos' orders. Didn't really have, they were a threat physically, in the physicality type of sense, but when it comes to any emotional depth or any way to be the real true antagonist to our protagonists, they weren't really there. They were just there to just do Thanos' bidding, and that's pretty much it. And I was kind of a little disappointed. There's only one ending cutscene. That's not a spoiler, so I will say, excuse me, yeah, there's only one after credit cutscene, so you have to watch the entire credits for it. But overall, you guys, Infinity War was really good. I'm sorry, this non-spoiler seems very vague, but I'm gonna go into full spoilers in the next video. But great acting, great production, just amazing score. This is the best score the MCU has had. Very emotional, very memorable. This is something I cannot wait for the soundtrack to come in May. Especially the last score. It is just heartbreaking. Absolutely love it. I have to give Infinity Wars full price. Go see it. Full prices, see it more than once. And this is Justin from ToxicGeeks.com saying later days. And for those who like stars, it's a 4.5 out of 5. Later days.